Hey there, good morning, I'm John. Today is Thursday, January 25th, 2024, and welcome to another entry in my my daily vlog, my regular every morning stand-up where I report to you and for me what I'm doing to make content creation long-term sustainable. So let's start by talking about yesterday. So if you saw the vlog yesterday, you'll recall that I was a little down over the performance of a video that I expected to do better. After having the day to reflect on it, I mean, most of that disappointment dissipated because that, as I watched the video, so it was the video about the 400 Mini, well actually about games you could play on the 400 Mini, you could add to them, and I just expected it, I irrationally expected it to perform as well as the previous video on a comparable topic. So in reality, it performed just fine. It did a further 1,000 or so. I think it's up, I don't know, last time I looked, 4,300 or something. You know, a video around 5,000 is no slouch. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a letdown from expectation. It's like you're expecting, you know, great things out of a new movie. You know, I can't wait to see the new Ghostbusters movie or the new Indiana Jones movie or whatever. And if it doesn't excite you the way you expected it to, you know, you're like, it was terrible. Well, it wasn't, you know, given some time to breathe on it, it was fine. It just didn't meet your expectations. And I think that's really what happened to me, on top of stats being a little lower. So anyway, I did retag and modify the thumbnail a little bit on that. I did a little promotion on it. It's fine. It'll do fine. And actually out of that gave me more ideas because there's still lots of engagement comments on it. So what I spent the majority of yesterday doing then was, after I took care of that, I knocked out another episode of Celebrating Yesteryear, which that takes usually about 90 minutes or so, give or take. And I did a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of reading of comments, both here on the vlog and over on all the comments on recent videos over on YouTube, and just getting ideas. And I have several ideas came out of that. Yesterday was really kind of a reconnaissance day, kind of R&D. So I think I'm lined up for what I'm going to do now for today and the rest of the week probably, and I got some more ideas and ready to come run at it again. So let's talk about stats before we talk about that. You'll recall that I have this artificial, low water mark that I want for 10,000 views and 50 subscribers on the average over the last 7 days. We're still at 11,000 views, just a little below that. Subscribers are still on the downslide, 42 subscribers per day on average. Yesterday was another kind of a low day. Just ebbs and flows, I guess. I mean, we were well above that waterline for months, it feels like, but whatever. We did hit another little milestone though, 44,625-ish. At the current rate, it might take a couple of days to hit another milestone. Looks like we're, around 40 now instead of 50. So, not liable to make another 80 or whatever we need here. But it's okay. It's okay. Whatever malaise I was feeling yesterday was just momentary in that letdown of expectation, I think, really. So, what I plan to do today, what I didn't mention was recently I had a viewer contact me, and they had a whole Atari 5200 setup. I mean, the console, the trackball, a ton of games, like 4 controllers, all kinds of stuff. And they wanted to donate it to me. The only caveat they said was, hey, can you help me out with an SD card rigged up for the GameStation Pro? And I'm like, heck yeah, I could do that. So I have all this 5200 stuff. And one of them, as I mentioned, is the trackball in the box, basically new. I think that's an interesting thing to look at that I'm going to try to start building a video around today, because there's the 400 Mini coming, which supports 5200 games, not a trackball, but it's fine. And then we have all that trackball stuff we saw out of my arcade at CES. So I think there's an angle around the trackball specifically to look at this vintage thing. So that came right out of the gate at me as like, oh, that's an obvious thing that I can just do, because it's a product review-ish, but it's really kind of an exploration of something I never had, but I can now play with. So that's the next thing I'm going to tackle. Plus, I have all this 5200 stuff that I got to find a place to store to add to my existing one that I got last year. Embarrassment of riches. Also, I'm going to work on taking the 400 Mini game recommendation video and turn that into some shorts. I didn't do that yesterday, but I talked about planning on doing that. And I've been noodling about the kind of time management, and I'm not taking the project of doing a video about time management or day in the life and lumping that together with talking about time management. There's no reason to not talk about it already. So one thing I wanted to share that I've mentioned to people before, but probably not in the vlog, is I can usually knock out a video in a day or two if I'm hyper focused on that video, but my brain doesn't work that way. Like I get bursts of creative energy or editing energy or shooting energy. And so I think the perception that John, you do a lot of things is really a side effect of the way that I have to work, which is I can't stay on one thing a long time because I get mini burnouts on that little thing. So for example, at any given time, I have an editing project open, I have a podcast timeline open, I have a website article open, I have the comment section open, the stats page open. I have all those things running. And so I'm like a hummingbird. I zip around to those things, and I'll stay on one for an hour or two, and then I'll go, and then rather than be unproductive, I'll just zip over to something else that I haven't been looking at because it's new and fresh. And so I'm chipping away at those individual tasks. Now, sometimes I stay long-term focused, like when I have like a 4 or 5 hour edit and I'm in the zone, and that's fine. But sometimes I'm in the middle of a 4 or 5 hour edit and I'll hop over to a spreadsheet where I'm working on research for the next tier video, and I go, oh, let's go play one of these games and learn a little bit about it and read the instructions. And it's almost like it's almost like I'm playing a game, which I kind of am, but I'm not doing it for pure entertainment. But as I jump to these different things, it helps to shift my brain and kind of flush out the boredom or the drudgery that I'm feeling about that one thing and go to the other. So probably what is perceived by a third party or fly on the wall as, man, you are scatterbrained and you have a million tabs open and you can't focus. For me, I have all those things opened to keep me from getting unproductive, because as long as I'm working on something, I'm making progress. If I'm working on one thing and get burned out and have to take a break and do nothing, now I've lost momentum. At least if I have multiple things open at once, I can jump to another and kind of, no one thing is getting high velocity, but I'm not losing overall speed. So I might work on the podcast, I might work on this video, I might work on these shorts, I might work on tagging this thing, I might work on a thumbnail. All those different apps are open. So that's a little peek into just the beginning edge of probably talking about how I manage it's less about time management and more about task management, I suppose. So just a little peek into that I wanted to share. Maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe it's something you hadn't thought of. Maybe your brain doesn't work that way. I can't think of a different way for me to work. That's just the way that my brain works, is having lots of stuff open and in progress and then jumping from one to the other. So could be of interest. You guys asked, and I'm happy to talk about it. I love reading the comments that you guys post and suggestions. So many of them over the last, especially over yesterday. So much support over, yeah, don't worry about that. You'll get over it, and part of it was probably me overreacting from my disappointment. Part of it was reality of some dipping stats. But all in all, you know what? Sun came up again today, and we're back at it. So I'm going to go ahead and, as I said, get back at it. Thank you so much for checking out today's vlog. If you did, if you're here every day, I love you for that. I so much appreciate your willingness to hang in here with me and see this project through. I'm so excited. Have a great Thursday. Please find time to do something good for yourself. You know you deserve it. And let me know. Let me know what good thing you did for yourself when you get around to it. I'd like to hear it. So, yeah. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next day. Bye-bye.